Let's get this bread, boys. Let's get this bread.
Let's get this.
Okay,
beat.
are we starting the podcast?
Yes, we're getting this bread. I just said so.
Teenager therapy, because we have problems too.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Gael.
I'm Isaac.
I'm Kayla.
I'm Thomas.
I'm Mark.
And do you see the difference in the mic? I hope you do, because we got new mics. We got
that upgrade.
Let's
we
go.
got an upgrade. Like, I hope this sounds good, because if it doesn't, then, you know, that would be really
There
heartbreaking.
goes our money.
There goes our money. This was
Yeah.
like so expensive. Literally everything we have went into this. So there's still some things we need to fix, but just over the course of the next few episodes, it should sound like significantly better. Because I don't know how you guys dealt with that terrible quality.
The fan in the background.
Fan in the background, seagulls, a baby crying. Like, I'm so
Oh,
sorry
yeah.
you had to experience
We're
that.
so sorry.
We're so sorry. Okay. Anyways, thank you so much for the support. Before we get started, like, we really need to address that because it's crazy, dude.
It's crazy. I love everyone. They're like so
Everyone
nice.
is so
Yeah.
They are.
I really wasn't expecting like the amount of like support and like I don't know, like I really wasn't expecting that much people to like our podcast.
True.
yeah, and I was
Yeah.
so nervous about posting my picture,
God,
and then
yeah.
when like I
Oh,
saw the
yeah.
comments, I was so happy. Like they're just so nice.
I literally just did mine like right now.
I know. Wait, have
Yeah.
you gotten any comments yet?
I haven't checked,
Oh.
but hopefully.
Okay, but like Kayla was having like a mental breakdown in the library. Like she was literally about to crack.
No.
She was about to snap. And then so she needed me for emotional support.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Go gas up the reset for her.
Yeah.
Wait,
but-
you did a first post?
Oh yeah, you posted. Right.
Oh yeah, that was the first photo for you.
Yeah,
wasn't
and it was like to like such a
Wow.
large platform, so I was even more
it's
nervous.
Crazy, dude. It was like the amount of support just made like literally the entire day. I was just smiling. Looking at
I
the
know,
comments. It
like,
was
the first
so
day it came
heartwarming.
out.
Yeah.
People telling us like
I know.
like they trust us so much that they'll tell us like their problems.
Yeah, they genuinely
It's just
enjoyed
so
it.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
I've had like a lot of people message me, and that just made
Mhm.
my day.
Yeah, it makes our day. So thank you so much for all those nice comments. They're literally like, they make our day. So thank you for that. But for this episode, we wanted to talk about mental health, which is a very touchy subject. We wanted to talk about mental health, which is a very touchy subject, and we got to be really careful with what we say because saying the wrong thing can really be interpreted in different ways. So we want to, of course we can't please everyone, but we want to do our best to be considerate of everyone's situations. So I hope if we say something that maybe comes off the wrong way, just know that we don't mean it as that. And for the most part, we're trying our best to help. But of course, we're struggling with some of these things too. So as we grow older, we'll learn from our mistakes. So if we make any, hopefully you'll forgive us. With that said, oh man, this is a big subject.
I know.
Yeah, I
It's too
know.
deep.
It's a daunting subject. Also, before we speak, let's say our name, like you guys didn't know who was talking. So
Mm-hmm.
just like a couple times throughout the episode, just say your name so they don't get confused. So this Gael, of course.
This is Mark.
This is Thomas.
Because people confuse Mark and Thomas.
I know.
We don't even sound the
I
same,
know
do we?
they don't.
Well,
I don't
to
think we
us.
sound the same.
But yeah, some people said they sounded the same.
Oh, sorry.
No, when one's ranting more than the other, you know it's Thomas.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
If someone's
Okay,
loud
yeah,
and ranting,
true.
it's Thomas.
I'm always
If one's like a
ranting.
little more quiet, it's Mark.
Do I say mine?
Yep.
Chaos.
Do I say mine?
Okay,
Oh, okay.
you guys know who Kayla is. She's the only girl.
wait, should I introduce myself still or no?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
They know who you are.
good.
They know who
It's so
Kayla is.
deep.
They
Like,
wanted
what
you
was
to
that?
talk more, so everyone loves you.
I know.
I know, Kelly. They want girl talk. You gotta talk to them.
Girl talk.
At the girl's perspective.
Yes.
Okay.
Come on. Okay. Ooh. So, Thomas, you want to talk about us and the impact it had on you?
What do you mean?
As in, you know how? So, some context, because we did not say this in the last episode, but me and Thomas dated for 2 years.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Shocker. Some of you guys
Yeah.
might be surprised, but we dated for 2 years, from 8th grade to 10th grade. Dang.
Yeah. It's
So,
pretty wild. Like
yeah.
I don't know, because it came so unexpected, you know. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting to find anyone at like that kind of, age. I was just like, I'm not gonna find anyone until like I'm 30. Like I swear. Like, but no. I mean, yeah,
But recently, we broke up, what, 4 months, 3 months ago?
yeah.
3 months ago. We broke up 3 months ago. And throughout our relationship, there were 2 times that we, like, took a break for, like, a week or 2. But it was never, like, a full-on breakup. But 2 months ago, we broke up. And the reason I'm telling you this is because it all kind of ties into mental health. And I know, Thomas, you were very affected by it.
Yeah.
You
I
kinda, like-
was.
And you still are.
Yeah. Yeah, but not as much, obviously.
Not as much.
Yeah, I don't think I am.
Well, I mean, what kind of emotions did you go through when that happened?
When you broke up with me?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you broke up with me and you were basically telling me that like you kind of like didn't feel the same like way anymore like you used to at first. I don't know, like you, it like broke my heart in a way. It like cuz you were like everything like I knew in a way. Like I don't know, like I would have considered you my everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. And so for your like you to say that like you weren't interested anymore, that you didn't love me the same way I did to you, then yeah, obviously it's like heartbreaking. And like I just went through
A lot.
so much. Yeah, I went through so much sadness. Like
Just a lot of emotions.
yeah,
just
a lot
all
of
at once.
emotions.
Did
like
you feel
anger.
anger?
What?
Yeah, anger.
Yeah, a lot of anger. Like I was angry at myself for like I don't know. I guess like and I was just angry that I wasn't like I felt I did something wrong and I wasn't good enough.
Well, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, it wasn't the case, but that's just how I felt.
Yeah, you're more than enough. I still think you are. But, of course, with time, feelings can fade.
Yeah.
And the thing I struggled
Nothing
with...
good lasts forever.
And it's perfectly normal for
Yeah.
that to happen.
And I struggled with trying to break off from you in the least harmful way I could. Because I didn't want to break your heart, and I didn't want to risk having you feel all these things. So when we
I don't
broke...
think it was like I don't think there was a way to stop it. I think
I think
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
just...
I think it was inevitable.
Yep.
And that's like the things you got to struggle with. You got to struggle with being sad in life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you can't be happy all the time.
Yeah.
So I know I wanted to kind of let you down and make it at least I didn't want to make it hard for you.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
know
get it.
even with me trying my best, you still felt... You told me like you felt sad, you cried a lot, you missed me, right?
Yeah.
And your mental health kind of went down during that time.
Yeah, I get yeah. It just so like it really does just make you feel terrible about everything just because like I don't know, the one person you like really cared about just kind of stopped like feeling the same way. And I don't know, it just made me so sad. And yeah, it deeply impacted me because during that time I started crying like a lot more, like probably at least once every day. Like during like I couldn't do my homework because it was always on my mind and I couldn't focus on anything else. And like I don't know, it was just really hard for me. It was like the feelings that I like experienced during that time kind of reminded me of the same feelings I went through like during middle school. And yeah, it was just very
Hard.
yeah, it was just very hard.
Well,
Very hard.
Do you still go through it? Because you keep saying was.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. Yeah. I'm still like pretty much going through it, but I'm not as impacted by it, I think, or that's just yeah. I think I'm not as impacted as I was.
Well, what have you been trying to do to like move on?
I've just been trying to really not be distant because that just doesn't help, but like just just I tried my best to understand what happened and the reason why it happened, along with like coming to the realization and the acceptance that there are other people and that
Mhm.
that there's not only one person you can be with.
Well, I feel like being distant does help though.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
'Cause you
Well,
need to-
being distant does help,
cut-
but completely cutting off, like,
Yeah, I don't think that's healthy.
yeah, I don't think that's good.
No, yeah, it's just temporarily. You just gotta take some time off
Yeah.
from each other, cause it's just gonna make you miss it more.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Thomas was able to cope better because he still like talks to Gael every day
Yeah.
and they just hang out every day. So like he's not as depressed as he would normally be.
Yeah.
But don't you think that's a bad thing? Because
Yeah.
like then you have like a sense of false hope.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, sometimes I do get that feeling of false hope. And just like, so yeah, like sometimes it hits me that, oh wait, maybe like there's still a chance, but I know that like
I try.
that's just me. That's just me like
Giving
longing
yourself
for
hope.
someone. Yeah, it's just me. Like, just how much I miss you, and like
Mhm.
I take everything as like a gesture that like can like be interpreted by like as like flirting. I take it the wrong way, and it just gives me a sense of false hope.
Yeah, sometimes that's why I like try not to have you be as close to me, because I feel like that is more hurtful in the long run, because you keep feeling like you still get that sense that like nothing changed, we're still together, and like that's not the case. Like things are different. We can't really act the same way, which is why sometimes I get a little distant and I don't want to be near you, because I know both of us, that's hurtful for both of us.
Well, have you guys purposely take some time off each other?
No, as in from being apart.
Yeah, because I feel like that's what you guys should do.
Yeah, but
There was this time where Gael completely ignored me for like a few days,
Mm-hmm.
but that did nothing but just make me feel worse about myself.
Well, that was because
well, that was another issue.
yeah, that was for another
Yeah,
reason.
Yeah.
but I don't know. Even like that just shows that.
But wouldn't it take time to heal from that? Like I know it would hurt
Yeah,
in the beginning.
yeah. Obviously, it takes time to heal.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I
That's
guess
just-
we just have to endure the hard
Mm.
times.
The break should be mutual between each other.
Mutual.
Mutual, yeah.
What do you mean?
Like you guys both agree that you guys shouldn't talk to each other for like that specific amount of time.
I see.
What
Not
are you
just
hoping to like get out of the break though?
Hmm?
What are you hoping like as like to be the result of the break?
Wouldn't you just get more distant?
Just
maybe
find
stop
just
talking?
find happiness on your own and not just on each other.
That's
Yeah,
tough.
because personally I've seen, I haven't really noticed a difference in the way Gael and Thomas act like together.
Exactly.
They still
Same.
act like how they did
Yeah.
when they dated, right?
Just less affectionate.
They're less
Yeah.
affectionate, but they still like are like kind of touchy,
Mhm.
talk,
Yeah.
and I really think a break would be really good for them.
Mhm.
But I don't know, like Thomas, I feel like it'd make him like more distant.
I feel like it would really hurt your mental being, Thomas.
It's gonna be hard, of course.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard.
But you just have to endure it, and then you're gonna at the end you're gonna learn more about yourself, and you're gonna become a stronger person.
Yeah, you'll come back to Gael and still be friends with them, and
Yeah.
like you'll come back a stronger person, so you don't have to depend on him as much.
Yeah, I understand. But the thing is that Gael is like also my best friend, and
Yeah.
so like even I don't know. It's just if I can't talk to, I don't know, because usually when you're having like trouble with your relationship, you seek help from your best friend. But what if your best friend was the person you're having, trouble with? Like I think that's like one of the biggest problems because when people date their best friends, they become like completely dependent on each other because they trust each other. Like they really do just trust each other because of that both like best friend and relationship kind of feeling. And so when like they break up, who are they supposed to talk
It's
to?
like losing two people at
Yeah,
once.
Yeah.
Wow.
But what if you're confusing best friend and boyfriend together?
Well, I mean, most people's boyfriends or girlfriends are their best friends.
Yeah.
Your best friend is someone you're closest with, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're closest with your partner, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're always considered their best friend. So when you break up, it's like losing two people at once, which really hurts you. But we kind of digressed a bit from the main subject, which is mental health. So I want to bring it back to what you said, that you struggled in middle school. And what was that about? What were you struggling with? What were you going through?
Okay, so before the summer before I was going into middle school, I decided to come out to my parents because like it was such a big burden on me. Like it was such a heavy weight on my heart, on my shoulders. Like it was like really bad. And so one day it had just gotten to a point where I just felt the need to tell them and reveal who I was to them. And they didn't really take it the way
Serious?
I expected
Oh.
it to be. Like they weren't very supporting of my decision, and it was just really hard for me. I remember after them telling me, I was like I cried for like a week straight because like my parents were like everything I've ever known. Like they raised me, and I don't know. I've always looked up to them, and so when they become disappointed for who you are, that just it really hurts you, and it makes you feel just bad about who you are, and makes you question.
And how did you deal with it? What did you feel when you realized that they didn't really accept who you were, especially being so young?
Yeah, I I became very I became very like miserable. Like I became so sad.
Did you have anyone to talk to?
Not exactly. I told like a few friends about it, but I don't know. It was just coming home to school every day and like just having the like fact that they don't support you for being gay. It just it messes you up. Because I didn't really have anyone to actually talk to about it. I made a after that happened. I told my I told a I told my friends. I made a group chat and I told my friends like what happened, because my coping mechanisms has always been like talk to someone else about it. And even though like it is like a way to cope, it shouldn't always be the only way to cope. And so yeah. But yeah, I told them, but I didn't really go into depth about it. Like I didn't say that much about what I was going through and how I was feeling.
And this was during like 7th grade,
Yeah.
6th grade, basically right
Yeah.
after finishing 6th grade.
Yeah, because I kind of like knew I was gay, and like I was questioning in fourth, and then I found out sometime like during 5th grade, and I didn't really tell anyone until 6th grade.
Mm.
I told my friends, and then it took months for me to. Oh yeah, and like cause it took me so long to build up the courage to tell them. Like every day, every night, I would like go into bed and I just think about what they'd think. Like I just didn't want to disappoint them. And when you build up all that courage, only for them to basically shun you and not accept you for who you are, it just felt so terrible.
Yeah, and like it sucks even more for you because you were so young and feeling all these things, feeling so depressed and having no one to talk to. It's
That's a lot.
it's yeah, and it's dangerous.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it was really bad. Um, it was just so. It was probably like the biggest downfall, or not downfall. Not the what's the word for it? Like my biggest, like
Your lowest point.
yeah. Oh yeah, my lowest point in my life so far. Because I'm expecting more. But yeah, I think that was just the lowest point.
Yeah, that's tough. And
Like every day, I just did not want to live with the fact of just what my parents thought about me.
yeah, and be I I feel like when people have those feelings at a young age, they're not taken seriously. When people when you hear an elementary student tell you that he's depressed, 5th, 6th grade, most people's reactions are like, "Oh, you're too young to be sad. You're too young to be feeling all these things." And I really hate that thinking because it's not too young. Like by the time you're like in 4th, 5th grade, you're like 10 years old basically.
Mhm.
You have feelings. You have a mind. You could feel all these things, all these emotions. And personally, when I was like in 6th grade, I felt very depressed. And I was very depressed for a while. But I felt like because I was so young, I don't think anyone would have really taken those feelings seriously. Like, you're faking it. You're not even sad. It's just for attention. It's just this. And I could definitely confirm it was not for attention, and I was not faking emotions. Like, you cry. When you're depressed, you just can't stop crying. It's so bad. Every night, you literally just burst out in tears, and it will be the hardest you cry in your life. Like, it's such a bad feeling, and being so young and feeling that is tough because you don't really have that many people to go with. Your parents might not take you seriously. Your friends might not take you seriously. So who do you really have? And if you can't cope with it, then it could be really dangerous for yourself because you never know what you might do when you get overwhelmed with guilt and sadness.
So when you're young, a lot of your friends are immature. Like in elementary, you go to them, they just laugh it off and everything. And that's like where it all goes back to like when they used to say, "Oh, go to a teacher to talk about your problems," or like you have like your parents, right? But like not all like parents can really like handle their kids like emotions in a way. It's like they just
They don't know how to help. They can't relate. It's like a lot of kids feel uncomfortable talking to adults because
yeah,
it's just different.
it is. It really is.
It's even if you have a super close bond with your parents, it's still hard to really come up to them and be like, this is what I'm feeling, this is how I feel. Because sometimes you don't want like to go to a therapist or to go to a doctor and get diagnosed clinically with depression. You just want support from someone. And I think a lot of parents really struggle with that.
Yeah. I remember for our English teacher, we read this article about happiness and like how essential it is for like kids to feel sad, like that they don't always need to be happy all the time, and and one of them was like you shouldn't always suggest or like believe that therapy and like going to a counselor or like and all that other stuff, it shouldn't always be like people assume that it's the only solution, that it's the instant, like they instantly think, oh, then let's get you to therapy, you know.
Yeah.
But what the article was saying was that like it's essential for kids to feel that sense of sadness, and they just need empathy from the people they care about.
Sometimes that's all you need. And I also read an article which I thought was kind of silly. And it said, the reason teens are depressed is because of their cell phones. And I was like, it said a ton of different like data, like since 2011 through like 2015, suicide rates have gone up. The happiness levels have gone down. More teens are depressed, and it's all because you use your cell phone too much. And it was like, if you use your cell phone more than 3 to 4 hours a day, you have a higher chance of being depressed. And it's like, it was basically almost saying to not be depressed, use your phone less, which I felt was like really, it was just a bad study because it makes it seem like depression is just something as simple as using your phone too much, when there's so much more to that. Like, maybe cell phones did make it easier for people to bully people,
Yeah.
for others to bully.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like maybe it would have been better if they took a deeper dive into what's actually causing it, because like social media, I think that's a huge factor
Mm-hmm.
in people being depressed, because you see all these people around you with better lives, with more expensive things, with more money, with better parents. They look way better, like a perfect body, a perfect face, tons of followers. And then you look at yourself and it's kind of like, well, what do I have? I don't have any of that. And then you just kind of start being unhappy with yourself. And I feel like that's so toxic. That's why I hate when people brag about what they have on social media. It's okay to be proud of the things you have, but if you constantly brag about it, I feel like it could be really hurtful towards others. So I don't think I don't think cell phones is what causes depression. I feel like there's so much more to it, especially bullying. I think bullying and comparing yourself to others, that's a huge factor in why teens are so depressed these days.
And looking at like a different aspect of it, of technology, I feel like teens get addicted to their phones and technology, and sometimes like that gets in the way, and it gets in the way of like finding out about yourself and self-discovery, because if you're just all on your phone all day, all you're just gonna worry about is just like the Kardashians or something like that.
You stop looking at
Oh,
yourself.
my bad, guys.
Because you're being like very entertained and like intrigued by like social media and all that, and it just kind of makes you prioritize like that kind of thing, like, or it loses your motivation to do other things, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you know, I have this project to do, but I'd rather just spend my time scrolling through Instagram.
Happens to me all the time.
Yeah, it really does.
Procrastination.
Yeah. It's the
But,
worst.
yeah, that's another subject. But I wanted to ask you, Kayla, like, have you ever been through that? Because I know for girls it's especially tough because there's so many like super pretty models and stuff on Instagram. Like, does that ever make you insecure?
Sometimes, but not really. Like the Kardashians, I don't like.
Yeah, but what
No.
about like maybe like girls from school that are like super pretty and everyone
Yeah,
loves them?
sometimes. No, most of the time.
Most of the time.
No, yeah.
What do you feel?
I don't know. Like it's just like a sense of like I'm not as good as them. Like just for a little bit, and then like I go through the rest of the day regular. You know.
And then you're like, nah,
Does
I'm
it-
fine, I'm good.
Does it
Yeah,
affect
I'm
the
really
rest of
out
your day?
here.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Why you're just like depressed the whole day? You're quiet.
No, it's. I think I have a resting sad face.
Oh,
That
really?
yeah, that too. And I'm like sometimes I'm not even sad, and people are like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
That
Like,
happens to me too. Everyone's
yeah,
like,
I didn't realize
sad.
it too.
People say I have a resting mad face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that too.
I look
Like
mean.
sad or mad.
Everyone's like, are you mad? Are you okay?
I know.
I was like, I'm fine. I'm
I
actually
know.
having like
Yeah.
the best day of my life. But I don't know. I feel like social media could definitely be a factor in the reason a lot of teens are depressed because they compare themselves to other people and then they just feel like they're not good enough, and that could easily get you depressed.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Yeah, I agree. If you guys look at my Instagram, you would see pretty pictures, but also my mood changed. But anyway, yeah, like my Instagram, like my account is full of like really nice pictures, but there's like a really big story behind it in a way, because if you look at my older ones, you wouldn't see any photos of me because I was really insecure. Yeah, like I was so insecure, and I think social media has had like a really big impact on me in ways like trying to look like good all the time, trying to impress others, just trying to like create an image for myself that I've always wanted. And I've done that through social media by posting through my account, and I spend hours upon hours just actually that's an exaggeration, but I've spent a lot of time like looking at the photos, like, examining my face, my facial expression, and just like literally spending so long trying to debate whether I look good or not. And so in a way, social media kind of did make me feel insecure, but it also gave me confidence.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Depression is just it's been made sort of into a joke by the media and the world in general. Because like tons of people use it as a joke, like, oh yeah, this made me depressed. I have depression.
I'm depressed
I'm
over like
depressed.
getting like a bad.
I'm killing
grade on my
myself
test.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like that's what they
Oh my
always
God,
say.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I'm like,
so
I'm about to
true.
kill
we
myself.
also do that.
Oh yeah, I do that
Yeah. I d-
sometimes because like we have a test
at
coming
least
up and stuff.
I know I do it. I know you do it, Isaac. Thomas does it. I don't know about Mark and Kayla.
I don't.
You don't?
Wait, about
I feel like I've heard Mark say it. I don't know.
About what?
Like, do you ever joke like, I'm depressed? This is,
Oh, okay, well, I
Well,
don't say I'm depressed,
I
but
actually get really sad.
but it's not depression.
no.
Yeah, I know, but I do get sad.
Yeah, but
like, I get
Yeah.
that
No,
feeling.
but we mean
no,
like,
yeah, but we're asking if like you joke around by like saying, "Oh yeah, like I'm gonna freaking kill myself" and all that.
I don't really like say that kind of stuff because I do take it seriously.
yeah,
I also take it seriously. I just like
it's so.
You
I
slip
mean
up?
it like ironically in a way. Like it was
yeah,
like
but
it's like it's bad. I know I should stop.
I
but-
think that just the whole culture with like teenager culture
Yeah.
Mhm.
is just using it as a joke.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's how we cope with things. Maybe by joking about it. Maybe that's how it just kind of helps us get that out into the world, you know. But I think sometimes that could be hurtful when everyone's like, I'm depressed, but then when someone actually says like, I think I'm depressed, like no one takes it seriously. It's just like, okay, yeah, you've been sad for like a few days, whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
Wait, the fact that we joke about it, do you think that's why people don't take teenagers as seriously?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like,
Because we constantly joke about it.
yeah,
I think faking depression and like mental health issues, it just like kind of supports the idea that mental health isn't serious. Like a lot of people think that it's just, if you ask almost any adult today about like teenagers and like their experience with depression, then like they automatically assume that
like why are you sad?
yeah, they're just like, what, you have nothing to be sad about. And when I was your age, I would, like on all this stuff. But like obviously like times have changed.
I mean,
And because like people fake depression, a lot of people say, are you doing it for attention? And yeah, it's just kind of sad.
Yeah, for me personally, I find it hard to tell which one is it. Like,
Yeah.
are you just
Yeah.
faking it, or is it actually real? And that's why sometimes like that's why sometimes like I don't know what to say to that person, cause I don't know if it's actually serious.
like some people want help and some just want compliments over and over again.
Yeah. And that kind of like ruined my judgment in a way. That's why I don't see depression as serious as everybody else does. And I know that's bad. But it's just what happens.
It was the same concept with like sexual harassment. If you walk the hallways at our school, you would hear like some jokes about rape and
Yeah.
Oh my
like
God.
guys raping each other. Like, dude, I'm gonna rape you. Like, especially in one of my classes, like there's this group of like boys who they like, I've never really heard any other conversation between each other other than the fact that, oh yeah, I'm gonna rape you, or like, oh yeah, my uncle, like it
That's
just
so dumb.
yeah, it's so dumb.
Immature.
It's so irritating. And I remember I called them out one time, but I mean, they didn't really take it seriously because they still do it.
What'd you tell them?
I just, because I was with this one friend and she got really mad about it, and so she said something, and then at that point I was like, okay, yeah, I should say something too, because I think I'm really scared to tell like other people like what they're doing wrong.
Confrontation.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm really
same.
scared.
Wait.
But
so-
oh yeah,
okay.
I'm sorry.
No, you
continue.
go.
No, it's like,
Okay. So I was messaging, like, for example, I was messaging this one friend like a few days ago, and they're talking about like this test, right? And then they were like, oh yeah, like I want to kill myself, and like, but they weren't serious about it, but still, like, it left like a bad feeling. But I didn't tell them anything because I guess I'm a little scared of confrontation.
yeah.
Yeah, and like what they'll say back to me.
You tell them like, oh, they're gonna think I'm weird because you're gonna be like,
Why do you care
Don't-
so much?
Yeah,
Don't be like-
exactly.
because it's just like we're like, oh, don't be like that, but like it was obviously a joke, so it's like,
Or like they'll think I'm being like mean or like critical of them.
Or like you're thinking
Yeah.
too deep into
They're
it.
yeah,
gonna-
exactly.
They're gonna use a
That's what I
term
meant.
like oh, look, another feminist.
Why?
And-
Oh, I thought like extra.
No,
Oh, yeah, that
like
too.
Yeah.
yeah, that. But like, people always say that whenever you defend
Oh.
like that kind of thing, they're like, it's always a feminist, like
yeah.
I think because of like some people abusing the like
The
um,
movement.
what
The
yeah,
movement.
they're abusing or like they're misinterpreting and like just giving feminism a bad name, a bad reputation. And so that's why like society takes feminism as a joke, because when really it should, like, the movement is just so that both men and women like receive equal rights.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it just sucks.
Yeah, but that's a whole different subject. But I agree that it's definitely been made into like sort of, it's not taken as seriously because people are like, oh, you're just another one of those feminists, when in reality it's just they want equal rights. But I wanted to like ask you, Kayla, that I noticed that I don't know what the right word for it is. You're very caring. That's what I noticed, that like you actually care about these things, and it's not just like maybe some of us will be like, yeah, I care about it and I know it's wrong, but I still say the jokes. Like you actually like understand what you don't want to joke around about, and even though everyone else is using it, you actually like go out of your way to make sure you don't use it. And I think that I respect you for that, because like sometimes I feel
Yeah.
like I could do better about that. So it's really admiring to see you be so like mature about that kind of stuff.
Nobody's ever told me that before.
Really?
Yeah, like
I've always said
you
that.
put it
I've
like
always
really
thought that you were
good.
like very caring and sweet.
Yeah, I think that's super mature of you, that you like you're able to not use, even though like it's kind of like the language that teens use, all that slang, and it's almost like peer pressure. Like everyone's so like influenced by each other that even if they don't want to use it, they still use it because like they're so used to it. But you're mature enough to understand what's right and wrong, which I really enjoy.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, ever
We all
since
agree.
You've never got that?
since day
No,
one,
I've never
Kayla
heard
has always
that.
been sweetest.
I mean, really?
Yeah, I've never heard that.
I think it's just a lot of people don't care about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Have you ever confronted someone about it? Like, oh, don't use this joke.
Yeah.
Really? How
Yeah,
did they
one
respond?
person. But it was like another person, like the other person. So we're in a table, right?
Mhm.
And like this one person said, like, oh, I don't want to say it. Okay, basically something mean, right?
Mhm.
And then like I looked at the other person at my table and I was like to see if they would say anything, and they did say something. Like we just like kind of understood like what she was saying was wrong, and then like we both told her, and she was like, oh yeah, like I'll try not to say it and stuff. But still, it gets like a little scary to see what their reaction would be, you know?
Yeah, but you don't like doing it that often, do you?
No, which I guess that's bad of me too.
Yeah,
But
but I can see why.
yeah, cause I don't know, I'm just like scared of what their reaction would be.
I feel like a lot of people would just be like, oh, Kayla's so extra. Like, she cares about all these small
Yeah.
things. It's not a big deal, Kayla.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is a big deal. It does matter. So I think a lot of teens struggle with talking to adults. And, like, that's one of the biggest motives for this podcast, is we don't have a place to rant to people. And sometimes we don't have a place to understand that some people are going through the same things. And the whole point of this podcast is to help people feel less alone in their problems, because we don't like talking to adults. I know maybe that could sometimes be a bad thing, and it's sometimes you do need to talk to an adult, to someone older than you, more responsible. But especially for school, like for stuff like counselors, like you really can't talk to them I don't know why. It's hard to really go up to your counselor and tell them all your life struggles, even though like you never talk to them.
Yeah, so there was this one time where I was like crying because something really like emotional happened. And so I was crying, and then one of the security guards, yeah, right?
She was one of the people from the office.
Yeah, oh yeah, well, okay, well, she was someone from the office, and she was basically like just walking around school, and then she saw me crying.
I was with you.
Yeah, and Gael was with me, and then she was basically telling me, "Oh, you have to go to the office," and I'm like, "I don't want to go."
Yeah.
And she was like, "No, you have to go," and I was like, "What if I don't want to?" And she was basically just saying, no, you have to
Well,
go.
okay, it wasn't that mean, of course.
Yeah, it wasn't that
Let's
mean.
put context. 'Cause
Yeah,
you tend to know, like,
yeah,
really
yeah, I'm sorry. Like she
make them
wasn't really
uncomfortable.
being like,
She was like,
you
well,
have to go. It was
you-
more like,
you have. I mean, we have to like do something about it. I can't. Like she was like, I
Yeah.
can't let you just sit here. Like we need.
I didn't really have a choice whether or not I wanted to go or not, but
Which
you
kinda
know,
sucked.
but I understood. I understood why she did it. But and so I went, and then they're like, "Is there something going on at school, at home? Like, what's happening?" And like, it was just weird because I didn't really want to talk about any of those things because I was scared that one, they were gonna tell my parents about it or something, or two, they were just gonna not. I don't know. They were just gonna. I don't know. But I just didn't think that seeing a counselor would be the best idea for me.
Yeah, and they kind of.
It didn't do anything but waste my time, to be honest. Like that's how I saw it, the experience as.
Yeah.
I wasted so long talking to her, but it was like more lies. Like I just lied about everything.
It's not like they followed up. It's not like they did anything.
Yeah, they didn't follow up on anything, cause after I told them about some things, some personal issues, cause I did like actually try to talk to them, like they assigned me to this person specialized in that kind of stuff from the district, like the school district, and then they were basically like, okay, just fill this out and give it to us, and then you'll just have like weekly meetings with her, and yeah, but I didn't sign it and they didn't do anything about it. Like,
Yeah, it's because it's just their job. I know some of them do care, but sometimes it just feels like they're doing it just because they're like they legally have to do it because it's their job too. You can't just let them stay crying. You have to be like, okay, what's wrong? Are you
yeah.
happy? Are you depressed? What is the reason for your depression? It's so like empty, you know. It doesn't really seem like they care.
Well, are you talking to them like you actually want help though?
Well, no, because I feel like most people don't want help from counselors. Would you get help from a counselor?
I mean, yeah. If I really want to get this like problem solved, of course, I would want to get like the help that I need to solve this problem. Cause if not, then I just feel like I'm asking for attention or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I want to solve the problem.
I mean, it's just some people
Wait,
are shy.
So you're saying if you had a problem, you would rather go to the counselors than to us?
Well, like the problem has to be big if I have to go to the counselors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if I can just have it solved with you guys, then there's no point of me going to the counselors.
Yeah, I feel like if you feel like you do need to talk to the counselor, then do it. Like, just try to talk to them, and then they will try to see what's wrong and they will try to help you. But
Yeah.
there are like also that kind of thing where like, you know, if you don't want to, you shouldn't have to.
Mm-hmm. Some people get anxiety from that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like we don't always want to talk to like adults about our problems. We don't want it to be like scientifically like cured and like, you know.
Yeah.
We just want
Support.
we want support. We want
Just want
empathy.
someone for us. Someone to listen to us. Just so we could feel that we're not alone. Anyways. This is the part of the podcast where we answer all the questions you sent in. And you guys sent a ton of questions. We have so many questions. And sadly, we can't get through them all. We literally have hundreds of questions. But we want to try our best to answer as many of them as we can.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are actually super like personal and deep, and it's a heavy burden because we want to be really careful with
Not
what we
burden,
say.
but pressure.
Yeah, not burden. It's like a heavy pressure because we want to be careful with what we say because the wrong thing could be more hurtful than helpful. So if for some things, if we don't give like direct advice, like go do this, and it's more of like, well, sometimes it's just like, I don't know, more. If we give advice that maybe isn't too helpful, it's because like we want to do our best to help, but we also don't want to risk you putting yourself in a situation.
And maybe we just really can't understand the situation like that well enough because we haven't gone through it ourselves.
Exactly. So some of these questions are tough. And one that isn't really a question, but it's just like a pretty like general thing they wanted us to talk about. So I kind of wanted to address this because I feel like something I've noticed is that sometimes it feels like depression is kind of like a competition to see who is the more depressed, who has it the worst, and like if you don't have it the worst, it's sometimes it's like depression is a competition to who has it the worst. Have you guys ever like seen that kind of stuff or experienced it?
Yeah. So I talk about something personal to me, and then somebody just tries to one-ups me
Yeah.
and say
Oh my
something personal about
God.
them, and they're missing the overall point.
Mhm.
Like I'm trying to get some support,
Yeah.
but no, they're just making it worse,
They just
Making
make
me
it about
feel-
themselves.
and they're making me feel bad.
For complaining. Well, not
Yeah.
complaining, but like trying to like say what you're feeling. Like
You feel
they
guilty.
belittle your pain. Like they
Yeah.
make it seem like, oh, it's not as important as
Yeah.
mine. But really it's just like equal weight.
Have you ever seen that, Kayla, or has it happened to you?
I don't think it's happened to me, but I've seen it. Yeah. And I just feel bad for the other person.
Yeah.
Someone addresses their problem and they're like, well, you know what happened to me this time? This happened.
Yeah.
And it's like they compare their like bad situation to their bad situation. I don't know. Like someone did that to me. I was like, oh yeah, this happened, and then they're like, oh yeah, well this happened, and they're like, what is their intention?
I know.
Yeah, like it's like they want everyone to let
Yeah.
everyone know, like, I'm depressed, guys. I have it so bad, guys. And maybe I could see like it's because it's their way to like get attention from someone.
They
But
just want
sometimes
to make it
it's
about
like,
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a difference between like sharing your problem and like saying that, oh yeah, I've gone through the same thing. I can like understand how you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also the, okay, but you shouldn't feel that way because I'm going through this.
Yeah, but that's tough. I mean, it shouldn't be like that, but I guess you can't help it. Some people are just like that.
Yeah.
There's not much we could do. Anyways, the next question is do you find that school is deteriorating your mental health?
Yes, because
Yes.
Okay, so, like, if you have AP classes, honors classes, it takes up so much of your time. Especially
Exactly.
a lot of people have after school sports or like do other activities, just like learning an instrument or something. So you go to school, you come home from like your practice or your sport, and it's already like really late, and you have to work on homework and study. Like you have no free
And
time.
get
You
8
have-
hours of sleep?
You can't you can't even like interact socially with your friends or anything. And when you can't do that, like when you don't interact, it's just it makes you like just really
Feel alone.
feel alone. You feel isolated.
Personally, for me, like my mental health is not affected by school at all. Like school is not my priority at all. So I don't freak out about my grades because honestly, I just learned to trust myself. And even if I have terrible grades in the beginning, I somehow always get them up. I'm not really sure how, but it's just like they go up. And it's like, okay, whatever. It's pretty easy so far. Maybe that's just freshman year. But as sophomores, I noticed a lot more people have been like super stressing out because of AP Euro and like stuff like that.
A lot of people take these classes and like they're like they think they can handle it because they handled honors classes in 9th grade. And trust me, if any freshmen are listening to this, honors classes in freshman year compared to like sophomore year are a lot different.
Yeah.
Well, it could vary on like the teachers in your
Definitely.
school, but it's like a different world. You have like no free time, and it's really bad. And also to elaborate on like school affecting mental health, I feel like grades are one thing, but your teachers like really impact the way like you are.
The teachers?
Yes.
Yeah, the teachers can make a really big difference. Like for example, you're having a hard time with other students in a class. I feel like a lot of teachers just don't notice. Like they just or like they
Yeah.
notice and they don't really do anything about it. But the teachers that do something about it just like make it like a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Such as like the teachers who like to guide you, you know.
Yeah.
It's like shout out to my Japanese teacher.
Yes.
She always guides me and Gael.
Yeah.
She was like talking to us about our podcast and giving us
Yeah,
like some
she's-
suggestions.
Our Japanese teacher is like the most caring teacher I've met. She genuinely cares about
Each individual student,
each
no
individual
matter like,
student
how bad they are.
and their problems, and like I admire that greatly because I've never really seen that in a lot of teachers. And she like I've noticed that she takes the time out of her day to like sit down with them.
And she watches this too, right?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
listens to this, and she takes the time out of her day to like sit down with her students and like help them with their problems. And I've seen students like crying with her because like they feel so comfortable around her. They're willing to share all these personal problems, and I think that's such a good trait to have in a teacher. It's one of the most important things a teacher can give to a student.
She makes you feel safe when you enter that classroom.
Exactly.
Like
You
the
feel safe.
environment or classroom, it's just so safe,
Yeah.
and like you can just trust her with anything, and like she's really smart. So she's like she knows how to like deal with your problem, like how you, like gives you a solution.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like I've never had a teacher so amazing
Yeah.
before.
So I do feel like school really does get in the way of like our mental health because like I loved getting involved with school and stuff like ASB like and like clubs and sports. And I just feel like when teachers give us such like large amounts of like homework and like assignments to do and studying, like it really does just take away all the time you wanted for, you know, like just experiencing the kinds of things you should be experiencing in high school. Like there was like I want to go to football games, but like recently, like the football games that has been happening, I haven't been able to attend because I've always had homework to do.
Dude, same.
Yeah, it sucks because last year, like freshman year, I would always go because I had no homework. So that's if you're a freshman in high school, I deeply encourage you guys to like get involved as much as possible.
Freshmen.
Yes,
To all the
everyone
freshmen
said-
listening,
Said that.
I know we have a lot of freshmen that listen to this because we got a lot of messages from you guys. But like some of the biggest tips I would give you right now is like literally do all your community service if you need that to graduate, because I know some districts do. Get that out of the way. Do as many things as you can. Go to every event, all the football games, because literally in sophomore year you will not have any time. Get it
Yeah.
all like.
But it
out of the
also
way.
depends on the classes you take.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
A
true.
lot of people
Definitely.
take regular classes in sophomore year. Like for example, my friend, he takes just all regular classes, and I still think you should be taking like not necessarily harder classes, but like, even if you don't take harder classes, get more involved. But he has so much free time,
Yeah.
and we're just in sophomore year. But imagine the people in junior and senior year,
Oh
all the
my
stress they
God.
have in
No,
the
senior
little
year
amount.
isn't as bad as junior.
Okay, but junior year, like
Yeah.
junior year is bad because you have full AP classes if you decide to take them.
And you have to like apply for colleges and stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
so it's like your most stressful year.
Let's do a fun question, cause, some of you said like maybe like not be so serious all the time, which I agree with. It's a good.
Yes, I agree too.
It's a good. We want to end on a good note. A question we got. That's more of a fun question. We got a question, and it's from. Let me see if I could read their name. From I wish I was born in the 90s. I'm going to homecoming soon, and I've never been.
God.
Any tips or
Congrats.
advice? A confused / nervous teen.
Okay, yeah, I'm really glad that you're choosing to attend homecoming because, like, you have to at least attend homecoming, at one point in your like the time you spend in high school because because if you don't, you'll regret it later. Like, there's been so many times where like my teachers have like mentioned that they really regretted not attending like dances and like like prom and homecoming, and so yeah. But my advice to you for being nervous and all is just be you. Honestly, like put on a pretty outfit and just make yourself feel good because homecoming is the night for you.
Have fun.
And
Yes.
for
And
you guys,
honestly,
yeah, just
wait,
have
no.
fun. Have all the
Don't
fun you
worry
want.
if you have a date or not, because I know lots of people
Oh,
make
yeah.
a big deal about that,
Yeah.
and I never
Uh-huh.
knew it was such a big deal.
You want to go to homecoming? Like all these
I
posters, and
know.
you're like, oh
and then
shoot,
I
do have to
would
do
I would
that?
ask my friends, like, is it really that big of a deal? And like I didn't think it was that big of a deal to just go with friends. If anything,
Yeah.
isn't it a little bit more fun?
Yeah.
It is, because there's more
Yeah.
pressure on you if you go with your date, because you have to like,
Yes.
because then you're like, okay, everyone's doing a poster, so if I don't do a poster, I'm gonna seem
I know,
like
you have to
I
ask
don't
them
care.
in public. In front
No,
of
not in
everyone.
public. No.
I
It's a
hate
lot of
that.
pressure on
I
you.
hate that. But if you do go with a date, my
That's
biggest
still good too.
tip, yeah, that's
Yeah.
still good
Yeah.
too. My biggest tip would be like, make sure they really like, you spend your time with them, because it's a really special night, and you really want to make sure you get a special moment between you guys. Because sadly, no shade to Thomas, but
Aw.
when we
What
went to
happened?
homecoming, like freshman year, I was so excited to go with him, because it was like, I don't know, I was super excited. And I remember like, I have no pictures of me with him at homecoming.
Really?
I have zero,
Hey, but this
because
is a new year.
he was with ASB,
Yeah, it's okay.
and he had to like work the table and
Aw.
stuff. So I was just kind of hanging out near him. But the one thing I did want to do is I did at least want to like be inside with the music, because we were outside when like a slow song came on, because like I thought that would have been so sweet. But Thomas got caught up taking pictures with his friends, and we like missed the song, and like that made me so sad.
God.
Oh my god, I'm getting emotional. I can't.
I'm sorry.
But just make sure they really like prioritize you, because it's a really special night, and you don't want them.
if we were to your date or like also with friends.
Both.
Okay.
You want to make sure you have fun, because
Well, you know what? One of these homecomings, we can all go together. All of us.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay, we gotta wrap it up on a
It's
good
okay,
note.
Gael, come on.
I'm okay. I swear. Okay,
I got something to say.
go ahead.
I know. Make sure you guys are both comfortable with each other. Because if you guys are comfortable with each other, you guys are gonna have so much fun. So much more fun.
That's so
Yes.
true.
And a way to get comfortable with each other, like go on little mini dates, like beforehand. Have fun, get to know each other, and like, I don't like just have a good time.
The most awkward thing. Oh, sorry. The most
Yeah.
awkward thing is like, you ask someone a homecoming, right? But it's also mixed in with you like the first time asking them out. So it's like,
Oh.
you know how a lot of people dated someone beforehand and they're asking
Yeah.
them to homecoming. Some people aren't even dating the person, they're asking them to homecoming. So it's like they've never really interacted before.
Yeah, that's
So it's just
bold.
awkward when they show up.
Anyways, with that in mind, those were our tips for homecoming. And just make sure to have fun. But thank you so much for everyone that asked the question. We didn't really get through a lot this week. We only got through like 3. But these are very deep questions, so we kind of want to it takes us a little while to really fully answer it, because we want to try to do our best, you know?
These questions really make us think.
Yeah, they're
Yeah. So
some of
thank
them
you.
are really serious.
I really like them better than the topics.
Yeah, we should do an episode
I'm
where,
able to talk
like,
for-
let us know
I
if you
just
guys
really
would
think-
want an episode where it's just your questions and we just
It's gonna be fun.
do our best.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So, and we also get to help you guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
A few announcements. We have the podcast on Apple Podcast. It got approved and it's available on there for all of you that don't have Spotify or would just prefer to listen to it on there. So if you're able to, please give us a rate on Apple Podcasts, because if we get enough during the first few days that it's uploaded, we have a chance of being featured, which would be huge for us. So everyone listening, if you could help us out, that would mean a lot. Just like DM us if you need the link to it, because there's the old episode and the new episode. You got to make sure you rate the podcast with the hour-long episode. Anyways, I'm rambling. Besides that, we really appreciate all the support you guys gave us. It's been overwhelming and insane, but it really makes our day. So thank you for that.
Oh, and also, make sure to tell us what you liked about this episode more than the other one,
That's true.
or what you disliked more, because we really tried to improve this episode. and hopefully you guys can compare them to, so we can further enhance our next podcast episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one, this episode, the audio still isn't fully set up, but we hope it sounds better. And also, let us know. Something I'm really interested is, like, let us know who you relate to, what your favorite part of the podcast was, and just anything, any thoughts you have. Let us know, because that means a lot, and it's really nice reading all those things. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.